Get your free copy of the complete tutorial at www.teachucomp.com/free.
Before sharing workbooks using the traditional shared workbooks method in newer versions of Excel, which is also the only way of sharing a workbook if using older versions of Excel, you must first add some legacy commands or buttons to the ribbon or quick access toolbar as discussed in the lesson titled Adding Shared Workbook Buttons in Excel. After that, you can then use the older Shared Workbooks feature to share workbooks with users of older versions of Excel or share them on local networks. Then click the Share Workbook button in the Changes button group on the Review tab of the ribbon to launch the Share Workbook dialog box. In this dialog box, click the Editing tab. Then check the Use the Old Shared Workbooks feature instead of the new Co-authoring Experience checkbox. This checkbox was previously and more accurately named the Allow Changes by More Than One User at the Same Time. This also allows Workbook Merging checkbox in older versions of Excel. Next, click the Advanced tab to set additional sharing options. In the Track Changes section, you can select the option button for Keep Change History For and type a number in days to track any workbook changes. If you don't want to track changes, then select the Don't Keep Change History option. In the Update Changes section, you can select the When File is Saved option button to update the workbook's changes every time it is saved. You could also select the Automatically Every Option button and then enter a number in minutes that it should automatically save the changes. If you select this option, you can also specify to save my changes and see others' changes, or just see other users' changes by clicking either option button. Sometimes, when two users edit the same cell at the same time, a conflict arises when Excel saves the workbook. In the Conflicting Changes Between Users section, you can set how to resolve those conflicts. You can select either the option button for Ask Me Which Changes When, or the Changes Being Saved When. In the Include in Personal View section, you can check or uncheck the checkboxes to include or exclude print settings and/or filter settings from the shared workbook's personal view. After specifying the sharing options, click the OK button in the Share Workbook dialog box. If you have already saved the workbook, a message box then appears saying you must resave the workbook. Click the OK button to continue. If needed, then select the shared network location to which to save the shared workbook. Also, newer versions of Excel may then helpfully offer to turn off the legacy feature you've gone to great lengths to enable in a pop-up Improve Your Collaboration message near the Share Workbook Legacy button. If you see this message appear, you can click the Not Now button in the message window to close it and keep your legacy buttons intact. After saving and sharing the workbook, other users may then edit and review the shared workbook. When two users try to save changes that affect the same cell, Excel displays the Resolve Conflicts dialog box for one of the two users. In this dialog box, read about each change and the conflicting change made by others. To keep your changes and move to the next conflicting change, click Accept Mine. To accept the other user's changes, click Accept Other. You can also click Accept All Mine or Accept All Others to accept all your changes over the other user's changes, or to accept all the other user's changes over yours. Note that this only occurs if you selected to Ask Me Which Changes When in the Conflicting Changes Between Users section of the Share Workbooks dialog box. To stop sharing a shared workbook, first ensure all other users have saved and closed their copies of the shared workbook. Then click the Share Workbook button in the Changes button group on the Review tab of the ribbon to open the Share Workbook dialog box. On the Editing tab, uncheck the Use the Old Workbooks feature instead of the new Co-authoring Experience checkbox, or the Allow Changes by More Than One User at the Same Time. This also allows Workbook Merging checkbox, depending on the version of Excel you're using. Then click the OK button in the dialog box. Depending on your version of Excel, if a message box then appears, click the Yes button to stop sharing the workbook.
Like what you see? Pick up your free copy of the complete tutorial at www.teachucomp.com/free.